All right, let's move on to second base and a DFS hitter that you want to roster this evening, Paul.
Among the top hitters, I think Jose Ramirez for $5,900 is the most effective use of big spending in DFS tonight, Jesse. He's a power bat who's cooking of late with 13 hits, 10 of them for extra bases, and an OPS of 1.106 in his last 43 at-bats. The switch hitter faces Jordan Lyles, who's been a punching bag in allowing 31 homers in 138 innings pitched, which goes a long way to explaining a pretty terrible 5.34 ERA on the season. Another big power bat that I like tonight is Sal Perez in a matchup against Seattle's Yusei Kikuchi. Perez is enjoying a career-best campaign in terms of the power numbers, which include 34 home runs in his last 10 games. He gets the platoon edge against a pitcher who's allowed 13 homers and a 5.40 ERA in his last 51 and 2/3 innings pitched. His price tag's $5,500. I lean on the tail of good hitting beating bad pitching in these matchups tonight. All
right, Erik, which hitter do you like tonight?
Yeah, I'm liking Giancarlo Stanton at 4,200. I just don't know why he's this affordable. I mean, we know how good he is. The main issue with Stanton is that he's not always healthy, but for daily fantasy purposes, as long as he's healthy tonight, he's, I think, much more than a 4,200 level hitter. He's hitting as well as you want right now. Over his last 13 games, he's gone hitless just once. He's hitting 318, WRC plus of 205 over that stretch. 5 homers, 11 RBI in those 13 games. If you back up, look at his season overall, he doesn't have the big strikeout concerns that he has sometimes. Above average strikeout rate of 27.3% is totally fine mark. It's actually his lowest since he left Miami, lowest since 2017. He's hitting the ball as hard as ever too. 55.6% hard hit rate is a career high, good for 4th in the league. He's facing James Caprillion, who does have a 3.25 ERA, but that's well better than what most of the ERA estimators peg him at. He's fine, basically league average strikeout and walk rates, but doesn't keep the ball on the ground all that well, just a 36.4% ground ball rate, which is exactly what I'm looking for when trying to select some sluggers. I want a guy who's going to give up balls in the air, and when Stanton hits it in the air, it goes a long way.
All right, DFS hitter that you like for this evening, Matt?
I think it's really hard on this slate to find a great option that isn't also going to be popular in GPPs. So you have the Boston expensive bats and the Cleveland expensive bats, and I think the ownership gets to both of them pretty significantly. Probably the same for St. Louis and San Francisco too. So everyone else should be pretty contrarian. I just don't think there are a lot of great options elsewhere. But the player I think I like the most is Juan Soto, and it has a lot to do with who he's facing. Eliezer Hernandez is a pretty good pitcher, I think, and it's in Miami, so he should be able to do well. But I think he's just going to carry too much ownership for the quality of pitcher that he is, and he is pretty inconsistent, at least throughout his early career. So Soto definitely has the upside, and I just think he goes way overlooked where you see most of the ownership for hitters that cost around 5K to 6K. Most of those players are going to come from Cleveland, Boston, St. Louis. I just don't think that Soto is popular in any way, and it's actually a decent spot for him, and he's obviously a great hitter. So I think as a contrarian leverage point, he's the guy to go to for this slate.